Welcome to the True Love Secrets Telesummit. Here today we have the most beautiful, talented Cyndi Olin. She has been studying love and relationships for as long as she can remember. As a former high-end matchmaker, Cyndi has coached and worked with hundreds of people, women and men, to find their happily ever after. How amazing. Seeing the need that women and men have to develop a long-term loving connection, she has been instrumental in guiding people to break relationship patterns that have been keeping them from love, meet the right partner, develop communication skills to foster deeper and easier connections, understand how to save relationships and marriages, creating a long-term connection. I love the phrase that she says. She says, I teach what I need the most. Welcome to the show, Cyndi.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Natalia. I'm so excited to be here, and thank you for that amazing introduction too.
Well, you made it easy. You are so talented and gifted and generous with your knowledge and your presence. It's just beautiful to be around. So let's dive right in because we only have 20-30 minutes. So my burning question for you is, what is your advice for the ladies that are using a dating app to meet their soulmate and they get caught in this, what I call a trap of the texting pal? They keep texting back and forth, and they are enjoying it, but the guy never asks them out on a date, or he never takes it even to a phone call. How to transition? There is something that these ladies could do to transition.
Yes, it feels frustrating, doesn't it, ladies? Yes. I mean, so yeah, I'll definitely share how to transition it, and I think a lot of times what I want to share first is a lot of times men need just a little bit of guidance on transitioning because quite frankly, they're trying to do without knowing it what makes you feel comfortable. So by messaging back and forth, a lot of times it can be a comfort zone for them to help you be comfortable. So understand that it's not the limiting belief that none of these guys want to meet or they're just non-committal. That's not necessarily it. So, so understanding this piece, but this is what you want to do. The point is to meet, right? The point is to see if there's any real connection. So this is what you can do to help that happen quicker and with ease. So what I share with all my clients is actually after a few messages back and forth, you don't want to get into a long texting relationship because it starts to get connected and emotional, right? Through just the app. So what you want to do is after a couple messages back and forth, you just want to say something along the lines of, it feels easier to me to see if there's more of a connection by meeting in person. But I'm happy to start with, a quick phone chat. What do you think?
Right.
And then I'm going to share the next step with you because they're going to throw you curveballs. And a lot of times women don't know how to handle the curveballs. So the next step is they'll say, yes, I was thinking the same thing, or sounds good. Here's my phone number. And a lot of times women go, oh, what do I do? Because I want him to call me, right? I want him to take, to pick up the phone. So he may or may not be ready for that, kind of depends. So what you could say is, "Oh, thank you so much for your phone number. I'm available. Let him know when you're available, right? I have a little bit of time this evening. Here's my number. Give him your number. I look forward to hearing your voice."
Beautiful.
Let him know. Hey, I look forward to hearing your voice. Now he may or may not call,
Right.
right? And he may not call because he's not quite ready yet. That's okay. Keep connecting with other people. Keep, whatever. You
Right.
could say, and some of them will call you right away. Or if you're messaging with them right then and there, you could say, well, I happen to have a few, time for a quick 10-minute chat right now. What do you think? Here's why you keep it quick. You really want to meet. You just want to get a feel for their personality. Hi, how are you? Great to meet you. How's it going? Da 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 da. Great. And then after that 10 minutes, set yourself a timer, because I know a lot of women have a hard time keeping it at that 10-minute point.
Right.
And so, like, set yourself a little timer right before it's wrapping up. You just want to say, hey, I want to honor your time. I've got to get going too. I'm heading into my next meeting, or I'm on my, and you could even be realistic. I've got, I get to, go visit my mom right now, or go whatever, right? It felt really great chatting with you. I, you know, I would absolutely say yes if you were to ask to meet for, a coffee or beverage of your choice, whatever.
Right. So it's okay to say something like that. Just
Yeah.
guide him, the guy. That's not being too controlling. It's
No, and it's not being masculine. You're also saying, I would say yes if you were to.
right.
Um, it's also letting him know you've got the green light without fully making the plans.
Right. Right. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love that. I love that. Yes, that we have something to say and we can guide them into, you know, getting into a phone call, because those texts back and forth, they can get so frustrating. It's just
Right. And there's no reason for it, because what happens is, the texting back and forth, you start to create a story like, what's wrong with this guy? Why isn't he doing this? Cut all that out and move forward.
right. Or the opposite, what happened to me. I went on 200 first dates in 2 years, and the first guy, we were texting back and forth for 2 weeks, really good. I thought we were good. And then, he told me that he didn't want to meet me. So I think it's best to meet him right away. I agree with you. That's beautiful.
Yeah, you want to meet right away. And a guy saying he's not prepared to meet you, or he doesn't want to meet you, has more to do with him and
Right.
his life than it does to do with you. And I think a lot of women, especially when they start messaging someone back and forth a lot, they get, it's natural to get emotionally connected. And a lot of times men will just keep up the messaging and not move it forward into the meeting. And that starts with a fantasy bond, limerence, like not really creating something in real life. So if you have a tendency to do that, you want to switch that up. You want to move things forward into real life. You want to be meeting them because you want a real life relationship. And if they don't show up, that's okay. Next, keep moving forward.
Right. Beautiful.
Because the right men will step forward. The ones that aren't meant to, they won't. And then you're managing your time and your energy too.
Right. Right. That's beautiful. The right man will step forward.
Mhm.
That's beautiful. Yes. And what about when, when they go on dates and they meet the guy in person, and these ladies have an amazing time, and the guy seems like he's having an amazing time. So they get all these cues, that either verbal cues or non-verbal cues, that he's into them, and then they never heard from the guy anymore. What does that mean?
It could be in a whole litany of things, but
I know.
um, you know, basically what it means is likely there's a couple things. You might have maybe spent too much time on that first date with them. So you
Right.
want to make sure that with that first date that you end it before he wants to end it. And that can be difficult because you're having a great time, you're enjoying yourself. You want to end it and you want to really say to him, gosh, I'm really enjoying myself. I could talk to you all night long, and I've got to get going. I've got an early morning meeting that I get to prepare for tomorrow. And I would absolutely say yes if you were to ask me out again. I hope we get to do this. One, it's a little lower investment, and two, it makes him want more. So if you spend 3 hours with him on the first date, it doesn't create as much polarity between you. There's a little less like, we naturally as humans want what we need to work a little harder for, especially a man. So if he's like, wow, I felt good with her, I enjoyed being with her, and there's so much more I get to learn. Whereas on the flip side, if you spent 3 hours with him, pouring your heart out, sharing all these things, learning all this information about him, he's full. He's like, oh, that was nice. I'm full. Maybe I'll see her again. Maybe I won't. Right. So if you have a hard time with ending things before you want to, make sure you have plans later. Make sure you have something else that you get to do.
Genius. Thank you
Whatever
for
that is. Maybe it's a Zumba class. Maybe it's a this. I don't care. Make those plans, because men naturally, they gravitate towards that, and a man is less curious about a woman that's shared all this information, because then he feels like, well, there's nothing more I'm curious about. And that's an unconscious thing. They don't always know why they're doing it, but that's true.
Thank you. That makes a ton of sense.
Mhm.
There is a Trevor Noah. There is a host that right now he's retiring from one of the Tonight shows.
Oh, yeah.
I asked him why he's retiring. He said that because he wants to live when he's on top. He wants to be
Yeah.
and I think it's genius to do something like that. And isn't it that because then the question that I'll get inside of my head is, isn't it that playing games? And what do you think about the games? I remember when I was dating like 18 years ago, there was a book called The Rules. Do you remember it?
Of course, of course.
I haven't read it, but I know, that
Well,
that's playing games.
it's not playing games. It's actually building polarity, and it's also managing your time. You don't want
Right,
to spend 3 hours with someone that you don't know. They get to earn that time with you.
right,
So it's about looking at it from a different lens, right? Like when you look at love through a different lens of, wait a second, if I put, if I revolve my entire life around this guy right away, he's going to naturally take me for granted. He
mm,
just will. And, I've had clients that have, they meet an amazing guy. He wants to take you off the market almost immediately.
right,
Then they start putting all of their life around him, talk to him all day long, all night long. And then the relationship burns out just as quickly.
right.
The slow burn is 10 times better. There's a saying like, what is it? It's like men have the tendency to want to put on the gas, and the woman's job is to actually put on the brakes.
Mm,
You get to savor the connection, take your time to get to know him,
mm,
spend a little more. It's a natural progression,
right,
right? And then there's some people that don't get off the ground. It just doesn't progress, and that's okay too. That gives you information. All
right.
right, I'm going to continue to move forward. And that's why it's so important to date multiple people, get a couple people in your rotation that you're getting to know as you get to know, the one guy, because things could change over time. And that also helps you manage the the pacing of the connection. And
Mm,
it takes a while to get to know someone. The first 3 months, what are we doing? We're putting our best foot forward. And you can find out a lot with how a man responds when you pace them and when you don't immediately commit to them. It's,
What about sorry, can I ask you?
go ahead.
What about when the women is trying to do that? She's being coached by you or by me or somebody like us, and she's trying to pace the relationship, but the men and they like the guy, they really like him, and the guy he wants to be exclusive, and then he wants more time, and he's kind of aggressively pursuing them, like he wants more time. He gives more flowers, more presents, more spa treatments, whatever. So what about in that situation, if the woman stands her ground and says, I really enjoy being with you, and I understand that you want more time, but right now I want to take things slower. What
Yeah.
about if he said something like that and he's like, oh, I need more of you. That's not enough.
Yeah. A lot of women will succumb to that pressure.
Right.
And it's men will get excited like that. They will. Even even the best guy, he's like giving you gifts, doing things. Ladies, a high value man, the right man will honor your process.
Mm,
And if you say, like, gosh, this is the most important area of my life, and I want to make sure that I'm taking it slow to get to know you.
mm.
And, you know, you want to share in a way like, gosh, you start with, I call this appreciation sandwich, by the way, you know, appreciation sandwich style. Um, but you want to share, like, gosh, I understand. acknowledge that. And then you want to say, look, I really like you and I feel so good around you. I can't imagine laughing with someone the way that I laugh with you. If that's true, whatever is true, right? I can't imagine feeling more comfortable or connected with somebody that I do with you. And for me, this is the most important area of my life. And I want to take it slow because I want to make sure that consciously I'm making the right choice for me and what's right for the relationship. I hope you can understand that, Bob.
Right. Right.
And it's natural for them to want to push. That's
Right.
okay.
Right.
And if he's the right kind of man, he's going to get that. He's going to be like, okay, that's right. And you've got to be okay with him dating other people too. A lot of times we don't think about the flip side of the coin, and I honor what you desire as well,
Right.
or your process too. And usually what it does, it's kind of like the best man wins, because the guy who's showing up the most, you want to feel the guy that you feel safest with, that you feel seen, heard, not just the one that's giving you all the gifts, but the whole thing.
Right.
Men will say things like, I don't care how long it takes. I know how I feel about you, or I honor you, I respect you, I respect your process.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
It takes self-confidence.
it does. And it takes being more connected to your vision
Right.
than the guy. What
Mhm.
happens oftentimes is women they'll get off course because they allow the guy to take them off their vision. So you
Right.
get to have a strong love vision. What is your vision? Is he aligned with that vision? Does he want that? Right? And you get to learn how to build that polarity and also manage your nervous system through the process.
Mm.
And that can be challenging, right? So you it's always good to have outside support, have a coach, a mentor, someone that you feel connected to, that can support your journey along the way.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. It makes a big, big difference for sure to have support in any way, like you said, a coach, a mentor, somebody to
Yeah. And
Mhm.
there's a certain point in time, right? I think women also feel like, well, you know I need to let him put in more of the effort, let him do most of the reaching out and calling. And yes, they get to do that. And you also get to let them know that, it's kind of like the 80-20 rule. You also get to let them know in a feminine way, gosh, I really, you know, when I see your message, I feel my heart smile. I'm so, they need to know that what their efforts are doing are working. And
Mhm.
it can be easy to not, to have communication kind of fall flat, or if he pulls back a bit, feel like you need to move forward when that's not the case. When there's a certain point in time where beyond a shadow of a doubt that this guy is invested, he's invested in getting to know you going to that next level with you, then you can reach out to him pretty much anytime you want, because it's not going to make a difference. But you don't want to do it from an over, like, proving yourself energy.
Mm,
It's natural that he will reach out more.
right, right. Yes. I love what you said. I love what you said about the distinction between doing it because it's the right time in the relationship to do it organically or naturally, is
Yeah.
and doing it from a place of trying to prove
Yeah.
ourselves.
And the thing is that you can feel it when a guy has gone to that next level of investment. And if you haven't felt it, then he's not there. It's almost like a click. It's like there's this internal click that, oh, I know that he's invested in this. I mean, I remember when I was dating my guy, and I remember the dating and the part, and there was a point in time where I actually said, we're we're not on the same page. We're gonna, like, I had to kind of break it off, so to speak, right?
Mm,
And I said, this is my vision, this is what I'm committed to, and I'm getting the feeling that isn't it for you, and that's okay, but I get to move forward.
right.
And he took some time and reevaluated. And when he came back around, he was all in. It was a different person. Not a
Mm,
different person, but there was a different feeling that came through. And I knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that he was aligned.
mm,
And I didn't let him go, by the way. It wasn't a game. I didn't let him go to get him back. I let him go because I honored myself and my vision first. And I knew that there would be somebody else that would step in that would have an aligned vision with me. It was only a matter of time.
right.
So a lot of times too, especially women that run a little more anxious have a harder time trusting that. And they'll hold on to something that isn't aligned vision wise,
Right.
or they won't communicate, an issue that comes up because they feel like, oh, if I don't show, if I don't just sweep it under the carpet, they're going to go away. Well, actually, if you don't share your truth from a love-based, feminine communication sort of way, if you're not sharing your truth, they will go away anyway,
Mm,
because they'll feel the dissonance within. Basically, you won't be showing up as transparent and authentic,
mm,
and they'll feel it.
right.
Men are highly intuitive. Women, we don't always see that.
Yes. We don't give them enough credit
Mhm.
until we
Very
do.
true.
Yeah.
Very, very true.
Thank you so much, Cyndi. This has been amazing. You are such, you know, so much. You have so much value. I really, really love your energy also and the way of expressing it. I know you have a beautiful gift for our viewers. You have
Yes.
something free for them. So you want to talk a little bit about it?
Yes. Yeah. So I have a gift that is all about removing your heart blocks,
Mm,
because I know it can be easy, when we're dating to have, feel limitations, limiting beliefs or blocks that are limiting you from really being able to open your heart and receive love on a deeper level. So there's a little training in there. And I also have a heart opening activation that I do that has helped so many women to connect with themselves and their open hearts. I mean, I've literally had women that have done these activations that have, ended relationships and met their man, only weeks later. I mean, it's powerful and potent when you can connect in with the heart opening activation to open yourself up to receive aligned love on the vibrational level that you're at. So
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Ladies, you better go and grab it. I'm going to grab it too. It sounds amazing.
yeah.
And thank you so much for sharing your knowledge, your expertise. And
Thank you for having me and putting together this summit. I know the work that goes into these, and I just appreciate what you're doing for the world and how many people that are being helped because simply you putting together this.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm going to stop the recording and upgrade to join the VIP exclusive package. Maximize the difference that this interview series can make in your love life. The VIP package includes 2 additional VIP only coaching and training sessions after this challenge to make the shift you want to make to create the loving relationship you want. That is an additional week of coaching and training. A private 20-minute coaching session with me to set real goals, remove your blocks, and get your questions answered. A free ticket to the Get Ready for Love Masterclass, a powerful live training session that will help you create your unique love vision and jumpstart you to create the love you want right away. On-demand access to the Library of Experts interview. These recordings will only be made available to VIPs. And emails from me updating you with all the links and dates for the VIP extra trainings, coaching calls, and resources. Amounts to a total value of $1,100. Today, you can access it for only $47. Click on the button that says Join VIP now for only $47. Looking forward to see you there.